From the age of around 6 to 26, I was offended. Yeah, simple as that. I was offended. I was an individual who was oftentimes taking things personally. Probably every time something could be taken personally, I was taking it personally. I was offended. Whether or not you heard from me, that depended on the situation. But was I offended? Absolutely. Did I take it personally? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I believe that the only way to deal with most situations with people saying stuff or people insinuating things or people believing certain things was to be offended. And so I carried offense with me everywhere I went, and it created a hellish of an experience for me. That I know for a fact. And now I find myself on the other side, a little more than a year after that. And I think to myself, how on earth did I ever live like that? How did I ever live? How could I function in this world living so offended? But then I thought to myself, oh, that's how I could, because just about everybody else is. As a matter of fact, we live in a day and age, in the era of I am offended, right? We live in the era of offense. That's going to be the subheader, the title I put on. It's kind of like the Great Depression, the Great Anxiety, right? The era of offense. That's where we're in right now, where everybody is just offended by everything. Everybody is triggered. Say something this way, say something that way, say something to them and not them. Say something to them and them. Everybody's offended. And I realize we are actually being conditioned into being offended. We are being programmed into taking offense. And the reason why this is because it makes us weaker. So if somebody wants to have control of you, if somebody wants to take power over you, the first thing they must do is take your mind and emotions. If I can control your thought process, that means I can control your emotional state. If I can control your emotional state, I got you for life. You are mine. Until you take back your thoughts, I will be able to manipulate and control your actions. So watch this. If I know that you are easily offended by just about anything, right? All I have to do is say something that's going to trigger that offense, and you're off to the races. Now I'm able to say anything, and I'm able to basically control you. Now I'm living in your head rent free. And that's the life that I was living until this season, this chapter of my life, and every other chapter that's going to follow. And I didn't know it was possible to live this way. I didn't understand that there was another way to be besides to be offended than to take offense, than to hear people saying things. And I'm talking about even when people saying things, insinuating or trying to be offensive. Like, of course you should be offended, especially when it's drastic things, right? Like if somebody calls you out of your name, like you have to be offended. You got to take offense. Like that's got to be a problem. With us as men, is oh, you look at me crazy. Now I got to take offense. Now, like you're eyeing me. Now I got to, you know what I mean? Now I got to do something. Now I got to end up with a case. That's the mentality that I had. And it's such a toxic, destructive mentality. But not only that, but it actually is disserving to the individual. Like it will strip you of all your power. It is living in a victimized mentality. Not saying that people are not victims. I'm saying this will put you in a state of victimhood. You will be a resident of victimhood, of the victimhood. You understand me? So I really started finding myself in this place where I questioned, within my healing journey and getting to truly understand my emotions and the purpose of my emotions, right? And dealing with that repressed trauma, repressed memories, repressed programming and suppressed programming, etc. I really had to start looking at myself differently and saying, well, is this actually the sort of life you want to live? Is this the emotional experience that you want to have in your life, right? You say you want peace. You claim you want peace, but you can't have peace and chaos at the very same time. They cannot coexist. So which one do you want? You can't have peace and also have offense, because offense is always being on edge. It's literally like being on the fence. I'm playing. I don't even know where. I was just trying to be punny or something like that. It didn't work out. But taking offense is going to keep you in defense. It's going to keep you in a place where you're forever guarded. And when you're guarded, you do not feel safe. You feel threatened. That's why you are on guard, right? So if you want to live a life that you claim that is one of peace or one of power, one of fulfillment, one of joy, etc., like all these things that all of us as humans intrinsically have the desire for, you cannot also be one who was offended all the time. And that was a tough one for me to comprehend at first because, again, all I knew was offense. All I knew was be offended. All I knew was take it personally, right? That's all I had learned throughout my life experience. If somebody says something against or contradictory to who you are, then you need to take it this way and you need to do something about it, right? Whether it was cut that person off or, cuss that person out or, you know what I mean? Or passive aggressive somewhere in the middle. You had to do something. You had to be responsive and reactive to it. And not only that, but you had to hold on to it until forever, whenever, right? And so I was the one who suffered through that. Like when people say, forgiveness is for yourself, I know that firsthand. I understand that firsthand because it can't be for anybody else. It really cannot be for anybody else because I'm the one holding those thoughts. I'm the one holding those memories. I'm the one holding those emotional patterns that are keeping me in this place of stagnation and powerlessness. And so when it comes to ridding ourselves of offense or ridding ourselves of taking everything personally, we first have to question why are we doing it in the first place and how is it serving us? We think to ourselves, well, I got one up on them, right? They're never going to do me like that again. I'm never going to be disrespected. But in truth, that's your ego, buddy. That's what that is. That is the fear-based aspect of you that is trying to preserve. That's what that is. That's not the real you. That's not the spirit in you saying, oh, let's hold on. Spirit holds on to nothing, sees no problem, right? It's gone. Transgression never happened, moves on. As a matter of fact, it couldn't even exist in the first place. But you, within your conditioning, accept a life where you are forever looking for somebody to do you wrong or do you dirty in order to fulfill that victimhood mindset, that victimhood mentality. You need something to reestablish and reinforce that identity that you've been so used to for a majority of your life. That's what that's about. So you ask yourself, well, okay, but so if somebody does me like this, then how am I supposed to just let that go? So you saying I should take disrespect? Absolutely not. I'm not saying take any damn thing. All I'm saying is if you continue to act in the way that you are and hold on to what you're holding on to, you will continue to feel the way you feel and you'll continue to live the life you live. And if you like that life, if you enjoy that, if you find pleasure, right, in what you are doing, then go ahead, continue it. Go right ahead. Waltz up in it. It is yours for the taking. But if you're over there saying, I can't live like this, I need something different. I feel powerless. I want to experience having power over my life again. If that's what you require or that's what you desire, then you need to change things up. You need to change up the criteria and the curriculum. At the same time, you need to change your standard of living, your standard of existence, as well as the way in which you move and operate about life. Those two things have to change consecutively. You have to change the thought process in order to change the outcome. And the thought process that must change or that must be stripped away, that must be eradicated from your life is that of, I am offended because of them. Because in truth, it is not them who are triggering you. It is them touching upon little things in there, little wounds possibly, that already existed from your own conditioning, from your own childhood or whenever the situation, circumstance may have been, right? So if you have an insecurity about something, let's say you had an insecurity about the way you look. Just say you didn't like your nose, right? And you were trying to compensate for your nose your entire life. And then somebody says, hey, man, that's quite a nose on you. You think to yourself, this person right here has disrespected me. This person right here, they must suffer for this, right? So you cut them off or you try to do something else to them. Now what? Now you have one less friend or now you make one more enemy. Now what? Now you're mad every single day thinking about it. That's what happens when we don't deal with our emotional triggers, with our emotional wounds. That is what happens. And so we really have to step back into a place where we live different. We move different. If we want different, we have to. We have to shift. We have to shift our level of consciousness, our inner awareness, as well as the way in which we act and move about life, the way in which we express ourselves in life. There's no secondary way. Again, I often say this in my videos nowadays, but there's no solution out there. You can't find one out there. I promise you. The companies will tell you, like the marketers, I come from marketing, 7 years of digital marketing. Actually 8, and now it's probably been more because I'm still technically marketing in a way. But I understand that they're selling you solutions outside there. The difference with somebody like me is I sell you, like you are the solution. I show you what to do. I guide you through a process that's going to show you how to get that personal power back. However, I cannot tell you that I'm going to give you this pill and it's going to fix you. I'm not going to give you this remedy and it's going to fix you. If you just take, 2 doses of this a day, then you will no longer be, no, like you have to deal with you. And I'm also not going to sugarcoat it because that's not going to help you. It's like if you go to a doctor and, there's a diagnosis and they're like, oh, well, it's like they ain't going to do all that. They're going to tell you, look, this is what it is. This is what's going on. You can choose what you want to do about it. Here are your options, right? They have to be straightforward with you. And I got to be surgical in the same way. I got to be straight up. I love you. And my love is demonstrated through me telling you the truth. Candid, carte blanche. So what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to live a life where you are on the offense, right? Or defense? Or are you going to live a life where you are free, where you know that you are safe, where you no longer need other people to validate you or to sway you in any which way or to be something different in order for you to feel different? Which one are you going to choose? Choice is yours. While you're making that decision, I'm going to make this one for you. Make sure to get yourself a copy of my very first book, Doing Me Guilt-Free by yours truly, Aquarius Wave. Again, Doing Me Guilt-Free. So you can click the link in the description below and it will lead you directly to this book. There's 2 links actually. One is for the book, the other is for the full-blown course, the educational 8-week step-by-step process of how to implement that into your life, right? Going from powerless to powerful, or from powerless to personal power. So make sure to get yourself a copy of that. And until the next time, peace.